Well, hi folks, welcome once again to Pete's Kitchen Garden. Friday the 21st of April, about 20 past 6. One of them days today where it's sort of been cloudy most of the day and it's been spitting, been debating whether to get out and cut my grass or not. And then about an hour and a half ago the sun came out and the grass was still relatively dry, so it's had a bit of a trim, but a bit disappointing. My day off and I've not really got much done out here today. Obviously since the last video, it's only a few weeks, it's still early in the season, so there isn't a load going off really. I'm just going to quickly take you down this border. So this is the perennial evergreen border. It's in that sort of in-between stage at the minute, so the spring bulbs are due to come to an end soon. The daffs have pretty much gone, and the hostas and various bits and bobs are starting to come up. Look at this Jacob's ladder, I've got to show you this. Look at that, absolutely stunning. Just a quick word on the hostas. You can divide these, and this was one plant last year. I think I've got 2 or 3 plants now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide this, and I'm going to put one over behind the pond there, or maybe 2, because apparently they do quite well in shade. Good thing to have by a pond, by all accounts, and I'll just be keeping a close eye on them, because the beginning of last season when I first planted these, they got mullered by the slugs, but as soon as I put pellets down, that stopped them. It is mulch as well, this border, so hopefully that should deter them a bit. Doesn't stop them completely though, not in my experience anyway. Potatoes, nothing yet, as I would expect. To be honest, I'd be a bit worried if they were starting to come through now, because beginning of next week, I think Monday through to Wednesday, we're going to have some very cold nights and some frost. In fact, I'm even thinking of taking the cucumbers and the peppers out the greenhouse and putting them back in the house with the tomatoes, just to be on the safe side. Overwintering garlic always does good. I don't think I'd built these when I did the last video. These are just some sticks that I cut from down the bottom of the garden and sort of dried them out over winter. Not geometrically perfect, but neither's my garden, to be honest. I don't really do straight lines, but you know, it's something for these sugar snap peas to grow up, and I'm sure they'll be absolutely fine. Right, I wasn't going to do a strawberry bed, but my wife's actually, well, she's kind of talked me into it. I wasn't going to bother because I just think they take up a lot of space, but she really loves strawberries, and anyway, the wife usually gets what the wife wants. So these are actually runners. So if you remember last year, instead of that humongous raised bed there, I just had a couple of smaller beds, and these are actually the runners. These are actually the runners that came off those plants, and to be honest, at the back end of last year, because I decided to just rag them all out, and I threw them all behind that arbour over there, which is basically where I throw all the big stuff that's probably going to take years to break down. I like to call it my long-term composting pile. And what happened is I threw them in there, and the runners actually carried on growing right through winter, right through Christmas, weren't bothered by the frost, growing really strongly. So I decided I might as well use them. They're good healthy plants and they should produce quite well. I'm just going to buy a few new ones, and I'm just going to do a couple more rows in this bed. I want to leave a path here because the bed next to it, my little boy there, just move out a shot, mate. This is going to be quite tightly packed, so I want to make sure I've got a little path here for access. So I'll maybe do a couple more rows, you know, new ones this year, and we'll see how we go. Probably just need to be more patient. The pond, I've not really done a lot since the last video. I've had a bit of a fiddle about with these stones. I'm always trying to sort of cover up the liner, just to make it look a bit more natural, and we've got a solar powered pump. This one is, the other one went kaput unfortunately. It works, but only when the sun's shining. If it's a little bit dull or just bright but cloudy, we don't get anything, so it's a temporary solution. I'm still planning on putting some water lilies or something in there as well, just to get some more oxygen in the water, and also to add interest really. Let's just have a walk up the top of the garden. Compost bins there. Well, they're compost bins, there's not a lot more I can say about those really. Liam doing a bit of climbing. The onions, what I did, if you remember, I think I mentioned last video, we've got 6 rows of red onions, and in between them we've got some first early carrots, and then we've got some 6 rows of white onions, or yellow onions, or golden onions, whatever you want to call them. What I've noticed though is the red ones, you can probably just see there, are all starting to shoot through now. The carrots aren't, but that's absolutely what we'd expect. Carrots do take a long time to germinate, and it's not been that warm. Now, red onions are supposed to be the ones that are more difficult to grow, but actually this year it's my yellow onions, and out of 6 rows, literally 2 sets have sort of fired and poking through the surface. I'm not worrying about that though. Every year I grow onions, I do fine. Sometimes some just take a bit longer to fire than the others, but no need for panic at the minute. Red currant bush doing alright, gooseberry bush doing alright. Let's just bring you into greenhouse a minute. We'll close the door as I like to do, and try and keep a bit of the heat in as well this time. So, funny one this, because until I look back at last video, I don't know where everything was last video really, but leeks still doing alright, my marigolds coming along nicely. I'm not quite sure what's happening to these at the front. The others seem perfectly healthy. These are just going a little bit straggly, and I don't know why. They've been looked after exactly the same way as the others. I see one's about to open up there, so I don't know what that is. I'm kind of hoping they come back, because I really do want to have success with growing my annuals from seed this year. The clumps of beetroot that will be planted out just as they are, spring onions. This is all quite boring at the minute really. What have I got in there? Lobelia. So these actually took ages to germinate on the windowsill inside, but they finally got to a big enough size that I can prick them out and put them on, and they're doing alright actually. Dahlia's still doing good. My petunias are absolutely flying along now. I'm well pleased with them. Look, not a bad plant there. Every single one of them. Very pleased. Same with the pansies as well. They're coming along really nicely. I did my sugar snap peas. I can't remember if I'd done them in the last video, but not that long ago. Maybe what, 10 days, 10, 12 days, something like that. They're all starting to come through now. I think as mentioned last time, I think I did do them in the last video, because I think I mentioned I wasn't doing them in guttering this year, because they're going around the wigwams, so doing them in guttering, sliding them out wouldn't really help me. Sweet peas, that's my second lot of sweet peas I've put in, and do you know what, the germination rate's crap. I may end up buying some. I've not quite worked out where I was going to put those in anyway, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. I've sown some of these tomatoes. I honestly can't remember what they're called, but they're basically a tumbling tom, and you get little sort of grape-sized tomatoes. I've done them out here because it's a bit of an experiment. I'm not in any rush for them. I'll just let those do their own thing. And these asters are looking really good as well. Looking very healthy. And then we've got a bit of lettuce. There's 4 pots here. So these 2 I sowed a couple of weeks ago, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago. These 2 I put seeds in yesterday. I only sort of do 2 or 3 at a time, because it gives us a succession. I don't need to be putting a full, 8-foot row of lettuce in, because they're all ready at once and they all go to seed. So I'm really trying to get that right this year. And as I think I've said before, succession for us is really going to be the key, and allow free up area to grow some of the crops such as the onions, carrots, etc. that we want to grow more of, that have a slightly longer growing cycle. So that's about it, folks. As I say, there's not a massive deal going on. I mean, I hope these videos aren't too boring. I really just sort of do it to say hello, really, and just to let everyone know that I'm here still. But I'm sure over the next few weeks, as the weather starts to warm up and we really get into spring, there'll be a lot more for me to show you, and there'll be a lot more to talk about. So until then, thank you for watching, guys. Thank you for the likes and subscribes. Look after yourselves, take care, and bye for now.
See ya.
Hi folks, welcome back. It's not the first time I've done this, finished a video, said goodbye, and then thought of another bit to add on. But I realised I keep talking about my tomato plants inside, and I've not actually shown you them, so this is basically what we've got. I don't need anywhere near this many plants. What I'm aiming for in the end is we've got, over to this side we've got Moneymaker, and to this side we've got Gardener's Delight. 2, 4, 6... so we've got sort of 10 plants of each at the minute, all doing really well. Ultimately, I only want 3 of each. So a lot of these I'll sort of be giving away. What I sometimes do when I first start moving these outside is I'll start hardening a few of them off, put them in the greenhouse, but I'll keep a few back inside just in case. When it gets to a point where I think I'm safe, then usually I'll start giving them away, if I haven't already given them away by that point. I could buy them from work, to be honest, but the problem is that when we get tomato plants in at work, so we've got plants in at the minute that are much bigger than these, and it's much too early in the season, and basically they've been forced, and so they're leggy and they just don't look great. And to be honest, mine look a lot healthier, which is why I tend to do mine from seed, because that means that I get to dictate when I start them off, and I don't have to buy them silly early from a garden centre in April when they're massive, because I'm worried they're going to sell out. So yeah, that's them. I've not got any trays or anything to put them in at the minute, so it does make a little bit of a mess of the windowsill, but it won't be too long before these are out. So yeah, that's it, tomato plants. Hopefully I'll be able to edit this onto the other video, but it's quite a long time since I've done that, so it should be fun. But if not, I'm not going to worry about it. I can show you these another time. So once again, I'll say until next time, look after yourselves guys, take care, and bye for now.